Hey, everyone. This is JNA from the Let's Get Loud podcast, and these are your hosts, JNA.
Hello.
Hey, Leash. Okay, so we're recording actually before our podcast party, and I got a message from Pop Balloons. So, guys, you need to check out Pop Balloons Twisting on Instagram. These two sisters are teachers, so like we feel extra connected to them. But they're like teachers' best friends. Like, have you seen how cute they are?
Yes.
Like they are cute, very
What?
cute humans.
Yes. And they're sisters, right?
Yes, sisters, and they're teachers, and they're both on maternity leave. Although one just restarted teaching. Like I think their sons are like, or their two children are just like a few months apart. No, so they were on maternity leave together, which is super cute. Anyways, and they're running this business where they do beautiful balloon things. And like every time I talk to them, they're like, we are just dying. Oh, it's fine. Well, did you press play? Is that what happened? They're like, we're just dying because I'm like, how? They're like, we could do this. And I'm like, how? Like, you know how I'm not artsy. I'm not creative in that sense. So it's like,
If you guys are looking on YouTube, I mean it's little, but like it's there's like there was a prince in that one.
yes, no, it's actually insane. Anyways, I think what they're going to do for us, they sent me a few pictures. I am so excited to have them on board. So we just did a contest. We announced the winner, and they actually also got $200 worth of pop balloons. But anyways, it's just really it's going to be a good time. Anyways, we were just talking about a few members that we really let's say appreciate. And they're just like so good on so positive on our community. They've been members for years and years, and they're not from around, so we don't see them, right? But they're coming to the party. Do you know that there's like Americans coming to the party?
No.
Two of our members that are from America are coming to the party tomorrow.
They flying?
No, they're driving.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know, I'm excited. I was like, can't wait to squeeze you. But anyways, we were just talking about one in particular that we really enjoy. We won't say her name. She's clearly listening for sure. But anyway, she's like joining another, like two other members here. And we're just saying how fun we're gonna be. We're in how much fun we're gonna have.
And I love that normally our show, we're like doing a show, but this we're not. So we're going to be able to actually like spend quality time with our people.
Yeah. And by quality time, we mean twerking and dancing with you.
Listen, guys, no shots. Do not even think about buying me a shot. That's what they're going to want to do.
Alicia, why?
That's like a thing.
It's like a thing. It's not going to make you feel good. No, why don't you want to drink it?
I really want to fully enjoy this experience. And I just want to and as I get older, Jose, I am not as willing to feel like death the next day.
Okay, I see. I am going to be driving back home. So it's just like, and you know what? I love that I have that as a like, because sometimes I'm like, oh, let's like, I might have like one drink like at 7 p.m. at our pre-party, just like for fun and just having that little like tequila shot. Okay. But other than that, the minute I put food in my body, it's gone. So that's why I understand why a lot of you don't drink, you don't eat, and then you drink, and then you get right sick. And then it's just because you don't want to lose that buzz or spend millions of dollars and calories on liquids, honestly.
I mean, you got it, but it's a balance. It's an art form, actually, the whole like eating and drinking thing. Because I do eat, I just don't eat like a lot.
Yeah, I know. Yes, of course. So here's what I wanted to chat about. So you're gonna make fun of me. So you know how I listen to words in a song, and I really like connect to words in songs. It's like part of my superpower. I'm just like being like, oh, it's when he says that, and then and it's like a song that's like not supposed to be deep, but I make it deep, you know?
Okay.
So at spin, I usually put I Feel Good by Pitbull. I don't know about you, but I feel good. And then he says, live life, don't let it live you. And like, I like really connect to that sentence. And I was thinking about, I don't know why, but I'm driving and I see two old men. Like by old men, I mean like We're late 70s. We're touching the 80s here. Okay. So like it's time to accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Oof. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, yesterday I went to go see my grandmother. Perfect time to talk about this. She's 89. And I'm like, what are your plans this summer? And she's like, oh, plans are over. No more plans. And I'm like, no, you need to do all the plans. Like, I didn't say that, but in my mind, I'm like, the summers are limited. You have what, 10 good summers max. That's if I'm really being nice, and you get to 99 and you know what I mean? Exactly. So I'm being really like, I'm spreading my wings here and saying 10. Okay. She does have a sister that's like 96 and is like still working at the church. Like my grandmother, like, and all of her sisters are just like in their 90s and just live alone. No one's at a home. Like it's very interesting. Like she was working on her shed yesterday. You know what I mean? Like that's the dream, you know,
That's
husband
amazing.
died, what, 12 years ago. And she is just living alone and like puts the wood in the fire. I was just out putting wood. Like what the, I just think it's the dream. I think it's pretty cool. Anyways, and I was like, no, like, what do you want to do this summer? I'm like, I would love, like, literally, I ask this to my mom all the time. I'm like, one thing, what does she want to do before she dies? Like, literally, that conversation. One thing that you would love to do before you die. Like, this is we're not having those conversations right now, you and I, because we don't think we're dying right now.
Not
But
yet.
when it comes to age, like, you're 80, you're 90 years old. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh my God, so cute. So I have that 76-year-old that comes to spin, and her mom just turned 108.
Whoa.
Mhm. Yeah. So funniest story is that like literally they're like, you need to come over. She goes and sees her every day and she's like, you need to come over. Like, we think your mom is not feeling well. Okay. So she arrives there. She's like, hey mom. And she's like, not really saying anything. She's like looking around. And then they're like, see, she's not really responsive. Like she's not answering. So she like fixes her hearing aid. And then she's like, hi mom. She's like, hi.
She just couldn't hear.
Oh my God, I laughed at that story. And she's like, I'm going to see her because like there's not a lot of days left. Like we don't know when this is going to happen. I'm like, I'm glad we're having this conversation. She's 108.
That's
Like, you know what I
amazing.
mean? Like it's any day, but like at least ever. She's like, I go see her like 5 to 6 times. She's like taking a lot of my time right now. Like, think about it. It's so interesting how everyone's story is so different, you know?
Wow. Is this why you wanted to podcast with me today? Because you're like,
Maybe. No, I was
like, I'm like trying to reverse engineer how we got here. Like I basically said nothing, and we've gone like this 108, your grandmother, members coming to the podcast party. Oh, you're
having
living
fun,
summer plans.
living your best life is basically
Oh,
what
the
I'm trying to say.
Pitbull song.
The 70-year-olds in their driveway. Okay, so I'm having this place where I'm like, listen, it's all intertwined. It's like that movie. You're like, where the fuck? What was that movie? New Year's Eve. Do you remember that movie?
Yes,
like,
Love Actually is like the
okay,
original.
there you go. So I was just that song, Live Life, Don't Let It Live You. And I'm like, I'm wondering if people go out of their way to like live what life has to offer.
I don't think so all the time.
And like, I was not always living that way. I feel like I'm like, I did it almost in reverse. Like, it's like, oh, when I was younger, I was so freaking boring, you guys, when I was younger, like literally I stayed at my mom's house, married my high school sweetheart, like got married when we were 22 or 23. Like, what am I, 1975? Like, what was I doing? Anyways, and you know what I mean though? Really, really living that like generic culture, like you get married young, you marry your high school sweetheart, you fall in love. Like, it's just like, I'm like, oh, and I'm like, so not that person. It's so interesting to me, but it's because I made some switches.
It's like what you knew then. It's who you were then, what you wanted then, what you thought was possible. Like, I don't think you're a different person, but I just think we've grown and evolved. And I don't know, it's like you just realize what's possible sometimes.
Yes. I like, and it's like, I'm like, having a revelation, like, it's so deep. My thoughts are so deep, you guys. That's why
I've
like,
never noticed.
it's like when I see like Live Life, Don't Let It Live You, like that, like makes me teary. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
yes.
You never cry. I just saw tears in your eyes
I
right
just
now.
like, I feel like I don't know. It's, you know how I am. Like literally, if I died tomorrow, I'd be upset. in heaven. I'd be like,
Absolutely.
I'd be so upset.
Oh, we were watching a show yesterday and I said to Neil, like that's my worst fear. More because then I've left him alone with the children.
More for the children. Oh my goodness. Anyways, and I was thinking about something that my our new coach has said that I was like, oh my gosh, like so true. He said the most common type of human is a consistent human that is not being successful and is not getting what they want out of life.
I saw that as well.
I really like connected to that because you know how people say they can't be consistent. Oh, let's make that our obstacle today instead of whatever I said. People, you know, consistency is one of the main obstacles in weight loss. Like I can't be consistent. And I think that's a label that people give themselves when it comes to weight loss as to why they cannot achieve weight loss. And it's like, you're actually a very consistent human. You like have the same job. You probably like eat the same things often. You probably go to the same places on Saturdays. Like humans are very routine and very consistent. But you're consistent in a routine that is not giving you a result that you want. And so let's not say that we're not consistent because you can really be consistent. And we actually thrive on consistency. Like we actually love routines, like as humans.
Oh, absolutely.
So anyways, and I was like, I feel like people don't get out of their little bubble to live life fully. That's full circle, Alicia. That's what I'm saying. Like my grandmother, she's not getting out of her bubble. She's like planting her garden and she is working on her shed. And I'm like, and there's so many opportunities I could bring her somewhere. I could fly, like, let's go to Florida, Mimea. Do you want to come to Florida? Do you want to go to Disney? Do you want to whatever? And my mom's like, that's not what she wants. But I'm like, maybe she doesn't know what she
wants. I was actually going to suggest that, like maybe,
oh, right. You have your weird thing about old people.
No,
and then no hurts.
But I do really get so awkward around old people. It's like, I don't know if we like acknowledge that you're really old or do we,
Alicia.
Are you going to like die right in front of me? Can you hear me? No, I'm really awkward. I'm really awkward with old people. But wait, listen, I have something crazy to say. Do you ever think that maybe for your mère, living her best life is working on her shed at 89?
I don't know if she even not like recognizes it.
But maybe your definition is different than other people's.
1,000,000%, Alicia. Everyone's definition is different. It's like, I just want to make sure she knows that there's a door. There's a door and it's offered and that like, and like, just like little things. And then I get it because I'm not 89. So I don't know what it feels to be in an 89-year-old body, but she's like, can't go. Like, I'm like, let's go to supper. All the like daughters, like, and the granddaughters, you know what I mean? Like all the women. And then she's like, ooh, like if I go eat there, like I'm going to have acid reflux. You know what I mean? And I'm like, then don't eat the fried clams. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not about the fried clams that you could be eating. It's about like being there. And there's like, what if I get the flu? You know what I mean? I'm like, but there's only so much time left. So like, you know?
Yeah. I mean, my grandmother is 86, I think. And she's like diabetic or pre-diabetic. And so I know it's like a health concern, but she loves sweets, like always baked, like our whole lives. Like she would have like 7 different cookies made, you know?
Right.
And my mom's always like, people are bringing her chocolate. And I'm like, Mom, like it's over. Like, let her, like, if I'm 87, I'm eating cookies.
Yes. And that's what I want.
Yes.
Absolutely. Bring me, I want your tin. You know, you bring me 10. Okay. You're 90. I'm 86 and we're crushing that. I'm hosting the bingo, obviously at the hall.
I hope I live so long. Like I really do. That's like the goal. Like I want to be 100.
1,000,000%. I think that a lot of people like, that's why when I know that things happen, like that is 100% out of people's hands, like it crushes my soul. Like when I hear like this conversation is going to go sad, but when I hear about our age and getting breast cancer or getting whatever, it's just like so fucking scary. And I like know that nothing was done wrong. That could be me. That's where I'm like, ooh, like that really, I'm like, live until that diagnosis happens. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like, I don't know. That's why I want women to get louder. I truly believe, and I've said this before, women getting louder is what the world needs. Women having more fun, women getting out of their freaking consistent getting up and being a mom and going back to bed and what did I say? Having military sex.
Oh my gosh, you guys. That was one of the times that we laughed so hard. Jose, we're talking about something. And sometimes she says the wrong word, and I know exactly what she means to say, which makes it even funnier because I don't have to like be like, what are you talking about? I don't know why we were talking about sex positions, but Jose's like, yeah, and then they probably go home and have military sex. Just looked at her. Missionary? Oh gosh. It's good. It's good.
And there's nothing wrong with military sex or missionary sex. It's just like, if you're just like, oh, again, this thing, you know what I mean? Oh my God, we laughed. And she's like, I thought it was like this special sex because Jeff is in the military. We laughed. Oh my God. I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Hey, what are we supposed to be talking about?
We're talking about consistency.
Okay, so yeah, so let's circle that back. Let's
exactly
circle the drain back to consistency.
Okay,
That's actually almost, because no matter what your obstacle is, most often it's that like you can't be consistent with that obstacle, or you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, my obstacle is exercise. Oh, my issue is I'm not consistent with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's almost like can survey or go through over everything.
1,000,000%. I think that at the end of the day, it all comes back to, you cannot keep up a certain behavior, a certain habit, a certain thing that you think you need to do to lose weight.
So then there's a lot to unpack there. So I want to ask you why you think people are not consistent. But before we get to that, I want to get back to what you said, not consistent with what they think they need to do for weight loss. And I spoke about this yesterday on Instagram. I said, there is not one action. Like I was showing my soup that I had. And for me, having food in my fridge prepped gives me access to success. It helps me perform, but it doesn't mean that that's necessary. Like there is no one action that is required for weight loss. We really love people to take that out of their brain, but then also acknowledge which things give them access to success.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. And again, like you said, it's a lot to unpack, because that is not like on top of, for you to find what you need to have access to success. There's so much unlearning from the diet culture and the diet bullshit. And then there's also like the societal pressures. So like, even if you're like, okay, this is what I have to do to have access to success. No, that's just what you have to do to get weight loss. And weight loss is not necessarily success. Like if you're like, access to success is eating chicken and broccoli. That's not it. If you do that, you lose weight. You have to change your definition of weight loss, of success, right? Because what is access to success? It's actually loving what you eat, getting that weight loss trend down, not lose, like it's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, success, if you're on a weight loss journey, to me is losing weight without the diety feeling. And again, a lot to unpack, because there's not one action that is diety. Chicken and broccoli for you could not feel diety. So it's not for me to figure out what action means you're on a diet. It's for you to figure it out.
Yeah.
Oof.
No, it's a lot. Okay. So I guess what we're saying is we want you to recognize that you are being consistent. Like that you are a very consistent human, and you probably have, you've been so consistent with your job and within your marriage and how you parent and just like how you show up, like you're so consistent in what you're doing right now. And so it is, of course, work or needs intention when you want to get out of a certain routine to go into another routine. Absolutely. But that's why it's so important that it needs to be small, sustainable, like small changes, but also so authentic, so that it doesn't seem like this big ordeal. It's actually something that you recognize that you're on a consistent path that you don't like. There are things, you guys, that you are doing that you're consistent with that you actually very much dislike, but you are so habitué à ça that it like you don't even notice it anymore. So we need to get you out of that habit and get you to a habit that provides the success and the results you want.
And when I'm having conversations with people and they say, I'm not consistent with movement, right? My very first question is, why do you want to move?
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to give you advice on how to be more consistent, because I can, and I can help you with that, but I'm only going to help you with that if movement is a part of who you want to be and you value it for other reasons other than weight loss.
Yeah. Yeah. Like someone was like, I'm so fussy and I hate it. I'm like, why do you hate it? What, like, do you hate it because you've been labeled as that and it's like, according to society, bad? Like, why do you hate it so much? If you really want to consume different items, you could start, you know, like in my mind, I'm like, I think you hate the label. You hate that that's, you know. She's like, well, and then she went into detail. She's like, I hate my experiences at my friends. Like they make me feel, I'm like, oh, okay. So it's all about that, you know, so it's not you hate it, it's they hate it. And then now you know, so we have to like really unpack sometimes how we talk about ourselves and the things we think that we have to be. Okay, so I mean, a consistency is necessary for success, 1,000,000%. And think about the success you have right now in your life, you guys, or where you are today is because of how consistent you are with how you live your life and how you have been living your life, right? So just know that you are being consistent. It's giving you a certain result or a certain outcome. And then it's for you to say, first of all, I don't like this outcome. This consistency has not led me to who I want to be. So then it's really just being like, okay, what am I doing that is just not who I want to be? And then you start little by little. It's the little by little as well that can really change the game when it comes. You can only be consistent if it's authentic to you, and if it's not hard to be consistent with.
If you guys are listening and you're lacking consistency, I guess maybe this is my tip.
Go tip.
My tip is you need to take inventory first of what you're trying to be consistent with. And I need you to ask yourself, is this authentic to me?
All right.
Am I trying to change too much too soon? Or maybe I just do not have a way to stay connected to what I'm trying to be consistent with every single day. Yeah. So I truly believe when people are struggling with consistency, it is one of those three things that is impacting or a combination. So step one for you being more consistent on something is for you to figure out why you're not being consistent with it. So ask yourself those three questions.
Right. And I think my tip is it's time for you to break up that consistency is perfection. That consistency means always. That consistency means like all the time. That's not what consistency means. Okay. So it's really important that you recognize consistency does not mean all the time. It does not mean always. Right. And I think a consistency will always take over as this is the reason why you're having a certain result, but it doesn't mean all the time. Right. So that's okay. It's really important.
You were so good about that.
Yes, of course. I'm like, oh, I'm being so consistent at waking up every Tuesday to go to my spin. It's only once a week. You know what I mean? But I'm like so consistent with my morning workout on Tuesdays. I show up every Tuesday doing great on that. And you know what I mean? Like it's so, yeah.
But you're not dramatic if you skip a day of something. It's like, okay, like it's not perfect. I love that tip. And guys, if you're trying to make a change, I really cringe when people say to me like, 5 days without a binge or 6 days in a row of moving my body. It's just, I cringe because I know what's coming is a day where you don't achieve that. And then because you're so focused on the total number of days in a row, you've done that thing, you're going to feel shame, guilt, upset. So I love the focus of consistency, but I don't love the focus of perfection.
No, 1,000,000%. When I talk to someone and they're like, I'm doing this and it's working really well. I'm like, but remember that it's not like the only way, because I'm like, at one point, like, for example, talk to someone, she's like, I started intermittent fasting and you know, I'm not hungry in the morning. I'm like, great. But please know that if ever you're hungry, you can eat at 8 a.m. and still lose weight. Okay. Like how annoying am I? I'm like a mom. But I'm like, you know, I don't want them attaching that they're losing weight because they're only eating at 11 a.m. Like, I'm like, that's not what's happening. It's really,
you know what's coming. You know what's coming because
I know that at one point you're going to be invited to a brunch at 9 a.m. and then you're going to panic. So
or you start waking up earlier, or your job changes or whatever. We've seen it. And when people attach one specific action as like some kind of magic, it's dangerous because eventually that won't give you the magic you're looking for. And you need to have that skill of adjusting and that skill of realizing that there is no magic. It's about finding systems and routines and habits. I'm going to say that every single podcast. That's my goal.
I like that for you.
All right.
All right, you guys. You know what? If you are battling consistency, I think it's time for you to send us an DM so we can really like unpack that for you and really provide a little bit more guidance towards maybe what you like. If you want to have a deeper conversation about what you can't be consistent with, we're here. Please DM us and say, hey, this is my DM. I actually got a DM yesterday that said, hey, this is my DM. I want to talk to you. I want to talk
Love
about
that.
this. Yeah, it's so fun. So please send us a DM anytime if you're like, I like these girls. I've been listening to them. This resonates with me. How can you help me with my consistency? Okay. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Bye.